What's up, everyone? As we head towards the second eviction of Big Brother 27, the vote talk begins to ramp up a lot. Plus, the house guests are starting to turn on Katherine. We've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. Right before we get started, if you are new around here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I'm here every single day giving you everything you need to know about the live feeds in the Big Brother house, whether it's game talk, or strategies, the vote talk, or even showmances, or even a little bit of drama sprinkled in there. If you hit the subscribe button, Tom's got your back and he's going to make sure that you know everything that's going on inside that crazy house. One more thing as well, folks, if you could all just hit that like button, it just takes a couple seconds. It doesn't even take a couple seconds. Just click that like button. Helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm. As a smaller content creator, it just means a hell of a lot and pushes my videos out there to more people. So there's two things there. Subscribe, like, let's get to the update. We've got a strong start to today's update. We have a breakthrough, yes, I repeat, a breakthrough in Showergate. Yeah, I've got the producers in my ear, the producers which are Tom and the presenter, which is Tom, now is going to tell you that there's a breakthrough in Showergate. Julie Chen Moonves, our gracious host, don't forget the Moonves, appeared on a podcast the other day, and she actually said that Showergate was blown out of proportion. It was only apparently 30 minutes long was Ashley's shower, not the 2 hours that has been widely spread by the house guests. It seems like Vince took that narrative and ran with it with the house, but we've started to have a little bit of the blame game come into play. In a conversation in the backyard, sorry, I almost said garden there. My Britishness came out because I would say in the garden. No, sorry, not the garden. In the backyard, y'all. Hell yeah. I know y'all love it when my American accent comes out. It's so funny. I get half of the people going, Tom, your American accent's amazing. And then I've got the other half going, Tom, it's terrible. And I'm like, it's probably somewhere in the middle then, in that aspect of things. But yeah, hell yeah, let's go back to the backyard, folks. We need to talk about I'm giving it up. Okay, Ashley, Mickey, Morgan, Will, they sat in the backyard and Ashley is saying, you know, don't you guys feel like Katherine blew the whole shower thing out of proportion? And the whole consensus within the group was that yes, they did blow it out of proportion. They agreed that Katherine was the perpetrator and that she started it. And while we did see in that episode Katherine was the one who took Ashley to task the most, it's starting like maybe the cogs are shifting, or at least two warring factions on each side of the house, because we've got one side of the house who, and this is a big thing that we're going to talk about today, the divide in the house that is starting to happen. But without going into it too much, Katherine seems to be at the forefront of a lot of it, and we'll get to that very soon. But yes, a break in Showergate. The shower was 30 minutes, not 2 hours. In a new segment we're calling the best gameplay of the week, this one goes to Riley and Kelly. In the backyard, they showed their complete game prowess of keeping everything on the down low by shouting everything across the backyard about their game. You can tell by now that this is a little bit of a sarcastic segment. Kelly is shouting to Riley, how do you feel about Katherine? Nobody trusts her. Really? Morgan doesn't even like her one bit. She doesn't even trust her. She's gunning for her. Kelly, where is the logic? Where is the game prowess? I think Riley was a little bit like, which is why he only said, really? But here's the kicker. Just as Kelly said that, Morgan walks out into the backyard. Backyard, man. She walked out. She walked out, man. And I just, oh my word. This season is the season that keeps on giving. Every single day there is a meme moment. And I keep talking about how I feel like Jimmy's trying so bad to go viral. He can try all he wants. It's moments like that are going to be the talking points, because it comes naturally and it's not forced. And Kelly, in terms of the game, is a little bit of a lunatic when it comes to how she plays it. It is kind of fascinating to watch. And do I think she's going to change? No. And do I think it's going to make for great TV? Yes. Now an update on Keanu. Of course, he has been through the ringer this week, having been put on the block, but then he managed to get Big Brother 20 winner Casey to come in with his power and win the veto for him. That is most likely going to be shown tonight in Wednesday's episode, if you're watching this on Wednesday. And we will see Casey once again in the Big Brother house. But he managed to pull himself off the block, and even though he was the primary target for this week, he can't be touched now. But an update on him. He really, really is so deluded in this game. It's great to watch because it adds entertainment of somebody who is just all over the shop. So I don't want him to go anytime soon. But he's of the belief that he is still in charge of this game and running the house. If you've been watching feeds, you will know exactly why I'm looking like this right now. Keanu is Devon from BB16 reincarnated. That's how the best way I would describe Keanu. He thinks he's got a grasp on the whole game, and he thinks he understands what everyone's doing, where everyone's going, and he thinks that he's the mastermind behind it all. Bless you. Bless you, Keanu. It's just not true. At the core of the house divide are two girls on either side. And it started with, I think, okay, Katherine. Katherine is at the centre of it. I will say that for sure. Mickey and Morgan are on the other side. Katherine isn't a fan of them. And those two are not a fan of Katherine. But Lauren has started to be lumped in with Katherine as those two are hanging about the most. And Lauren and Kat decided at one point, they said, you know, they were in Jimmy's HOH room, just the two of them. And Kat goes, I need to tell you something. I want Amy out. I want Amy out. And then Lauren goes, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. And it was almost like two souls had came together and were like, okay, we're on the same page now, and they're locked in. And they want to do that solely to spite Mickey and Morgan. Not that Mickey and Morgan are incredibly close to Amy, or that they desperately want to keep her, but their ideal situation is that Adrian goes out this week just to shake things up. So we are going to talk about the votes a little bit later and who it's going to sway to, depending on who wins the BB Blockbuster. We'll talk about, in each scenario, who goes home. But I don't see, unless Will is on the block with Amy, that's the only way Morgan and Mickey are going to try and vote out Amy, because they want to keep Will. In any other scenario, they don't. They want to make sure that Amy stays, because Adrian is the component that they want to move out of this game. And Lauren and Katherine are trying to put a wrench in that works and saying, I want to stop that, just to spite them. Just to spite them. This is old school BB, this pettiness of voting somebody out just because you don't want somebody to get their own way. This is what I'm talking about when I say petty old school drama. In a rare moment of clarity for Jimmy, he acknowledged that his HOH has been bad. Those weren't the exact words though, they were a little worse. They went along the lines of this. This HOH has been a shit sandwich. Just munch on that for a second, folks. I shouldn't have said that. Shit sandwich. Wow. That was actually surprising for me to hear that from Jimmy, because I thought he'd gone full HOH-itis and gone off the deluded end, but he didn't. He didn't actually do that, and he has managed to actually acknowledge that it's been terrible. But it doesn't stop the fact that it's damaged his game almost irreversibly. So many house guests this week have grown sick and tired of Jimmy's antics and literally have been labelling it as the Jimmy Show. The Jimmy Show, folks. And it's exactly what I've been thinking this week. I loved him in week 1 and the preseasons. I thought, this guy's going to be messy. He's going to be old school. But then it quickly dawned on me, my opinion started to change when I started to notice, and it's okay for people's opinions to change. We don't have to have set in stone opinions for people the whole way through the season, because my opinions have certainly been changing on some of these house guests. I started to realise that this is a guy who isn't old school, but he's trying to be old school. And I feel like old school comes authentically, because there are plenty of people out there that you could cast to bring a bit of the old school to the game. But this guy, I feel like, is constantly trying to go viral on TikTok, and it just comes across as like disingenuous and inauthentic. I'm not saying I hate the guy. I'm not saying he's the worst person in the world before people start reading between the lines. All I'm saying is the fact that he is trying to be something that he isn't, and I can see right through it. That's all. And I'm sure he's lovely outside the game. People get along with him on a personal level, but it's also like this power that goes to his head when he gets a little bit of it, and it just spirals out of control. And he is saying things and doing things that I don't think he even realizes he's doing. And he's finally having to suffer the consequences of that because, like I said, people are turning on Jimmy. And I've heard multiple people say that if they win HOH, Jimmy will be sat on the block without a doubt. He's been lucky that this Katherine thing, that the whole cat thing has spiraled into a bit of a snowball towards the end of this week, because now she's getting a lot of attention, and then the divide between Morgan, Mickey, Katherine, and Lauren is kind of coming to the forefront. Another person who's benefiting from that, I may add, did the camera just move? Why did I feel like the camera just moved? Another person who's benefiting from that, is the camera going down? Let me just adjust. There we go. How's that, folks? Another person who's benefiting from that, wow, some live behind the scenes. Another person who's benefiting from that is one Miss Rachel Riley. She is somebody who went in with the biggest target on her back, and I can see the camera moving again, but we're just going to go with it and try and finish this update, and I'm going to slowly adjust, almost like a movie. It's cinematic. She has been trying to adjust. Oh, it's going fast. She's been trying to adjust. I'm going to duck down. She's been trying to adjust to being part of this house when she is a legend in the game. And unfortunately, to her detriment, she walked in and a few people are like, we got to get her out. But all the chaos started, and then all of a sudden she's been able to slip on by, and maybe Jimmy is going to benefit from that as well. I'm coming further down, the chair's moving backwards, and that could be a breakthrough in Rachel's game, because if she gets to jury, she could be off to the moon, because right now people aren't targeting Rachel Riley, and something is working for her. With the BB Blockbuster, it's added a little bit of a twist in the game, as the fact that the house guests basically have to keep strategizing until Thursday. I am 100% of the belief that the game had a flaw in it before the BB Blockbuster, and I feel like something can stay fresh for a while because people have to try and figure out and navigate something. And those early days when it was just the veto nominees and then you move on, it was fresh, it was new, it was seeing people navigate how they're going to do things. Whereas, 15, 20 years down the line, it starts to get a little bit stale, and that's why so many viewers turned off of Big Brother and stopped watching Big Brother. Of course, us super fans continued watching, but I think a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us would, probably put our hands up and say the game was getting a little bit boring at the fact that basically on Sunday night we knew who was going, or by Monday after the veto ceremony we knew exactly where things were going, and as a result it was even before, that's why I say Sunday, Monday, because even before the veto ceremony we kind of knew who was going, and there was so many years of not using the power of veto. I've chosen not to use the power of veto. I'm going to vote with the house this week. Okay, well, don't let the door hit you on your way out, you terrible gamer. But yes, yay! I have definitely seen a flaw in the game, and the BB Blockbuster, in my opinion, has helped that out, because as I sit here right now recording everything that happened on Tuesday, I am still unsure on who is going to be evicted. We are going to run down the vote scenarios though now, but the BB Blockbuster, I like it because it keeps people having to work until Thursday, and I don't think you should ever have to be able to lay back in Big Brother. That's a lot of money that you could be earning there. That's 750k. That would change my life. I know it would for sure, and it would change so many people's lives. It's so much money, and I don't think you should be able to just lay back and just be like, okay, we're going to get rid of that person this week and this person that week because we'll get rid of the oldest person this week, and then we're going to get rid of this person because they're a bit of an outcast or whatever. Stop with that shit. I like the game being fresh and not knowing what is going to happen until the night, and even then blindsides can happen. So here is what we have got in terms of what could happen. again, it's going to be all right on the night, and that's when we're going to find out everything that happens. But if we've got Amy versus Will on the block and Adrian wins the BB Blockbuster, it's without a doubt that Amy will go home. I will say that. Unless some, pro-Amy sentiment gets stirred up in the house today. And tomorrow, I don't know if that's going to shift. So right now I'm looking at Amy, if it's Amy and Will on the block. In the scenario of Adrian versus Will on the block, again, I think Adrian will be headed out the door. And this, to me, is just testament to how strong Will's social game is. He's sat on the block, he's been Jimmy's target, and there is no traction for getting Will out. He has been given a life vest though, because I was critical earlier this week. I said, I don't like the fact that he's been put on the block and he's lost all of his fire. Because he has. I've been high on Will. He was in my pre-season favourites for 4. The four I picked first. And then as we went through the first week, Will was still in my favourites. But then when he hit the block, he got bumped out of my top 4. And I'll tell you why. I don't like people who give up in the game when they feel the slightest bit of adversity. To me, that's what would light a fire under my belly. If I was ever going to get complacent, it would be while I wasn't on the block or while I was drifting on by. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new light, and I'm feeling good. Sorry, I had to say that there. I think Will needs more fire in him. And it's disappointing because it's like he's been put on the block and then all of a sudden the fight's all gone. And I'm just like, do you know how many people would... Because I know there's certain people who haven't hit the block yet, but as soon as they do, it's just going to be... They'll fight tooth and nail. Rachel will do it, I know that for sure. And I'm going to say Ava as well. She has openly talked about how expensive it is to live in New York and how rent ain't cheap. So she is going to give it all she's got and will fight tooth and nail, which I love. I think I would have said the same about Vince, but I feel like Vince is kind of casually playing this game rather than like actually intently. But I want people who really want the money and want to scramble for it, because imagine just like giving up right there when there's almost $1 million sat there at the end and just being like, yeah, I can't really be bothered to campaign, I can't really be bothered to do this. 100% you're going to go down in my estimations and rankings. So I really hope Will picks it up and gets some fire. But he's got a life vest this week because I feel like no matter what happens, no matter which scenario in which he is sat on the block, he is staying. Will needs to take that as a sign that he has got a good social game and work it. Because you don't just throw away something good like that. Because I've seen people with worse social games battle their way and get to the end and win the money. Will has got a leg up here. Everyone loves him. Nobody wants him out. So he needs to take that, get his head in the game and realise that he can win this $750,000 and don't give up. Back to the backyard now, and we have got Morgan, Mickey, Will and Ashley sat together again, and Ashley is making the point. She whispers to the gang, she goes, why is Katherine staring at us? And then Will just comes out and says, effing creepy. Yeah, he dropped the F, effing creepy. And then Mickey they continue talking for a bit, and Will was like talking about the way Mickey was looking and said, Mickey looks like she wants to mess her up and all that kind of stuff. And then Mickey goes, no, she just annoys me. I don't trust her. She's not nice. This feels like the brewing of a war. I'm telling you this. We've got, like I said earlier in the video, Lauren and Kat in the HOH room stirring up anti-sentiment against Morgan and Mickey, and then in the backyard you've got those guys talking about Katherine, and they haven't actually butt heads yet. They've been doing it in that room, and they've been doing it in that room, and then as tensions get tighter and tighter and tighter and the rope goes further and further, it's gonna snap. It's gonna snap, and then all of a sudden the elasticity of the rope goes boing, and then it all clashes. I think that is something to watch out for within the next couple weeks. I think we are going to see a good old-fashioned Big Brother brawl in the kitchen of just a screaming match. That's kind of where I feel like this is going, because there's only so much it can build up, especially when if one of them gets power, it's going to piss the other side off even more. And then again, it's just the rope will get tighter and tighter and tighter where it'll snap and then bang. I can't wait. But yeah, wow, guys, this is definitely becoming the talking point of this week at least. The Katherine versus Morgan, Mickey, Lauren kind of quadrangle thing going on. And it's fascinating to watch. And like I said, there are some people who were able to just drift on by because of this vacuum. In any other season, Kelly would be out by now. Keanu would be out by now. Rachel Riley would be out by now. But guess what's not happening? These big personalities are being able to stay because it is a chaotic house. For all of us who've been waiting all these years for a good, fresh game where everything's all on the table and anything can happen, and then I still see people complaining about this season now. Let's just take a moment. We are in this season right now where big targets and chaotic players are able to avoid the block and maneuver their way past the first few weeks because there is so much chaos going on. I am so grateful to the Big Brother gods, because who knows where we're going to be in season 28, 29, 30. But I've got to say one thing for sure. 27 is giving me life, and it's a great time to be alive to be a Big Brother fan. As much as you might love or hate Rachel Riley, you've got to admit that she knows how to dress for the occasion. She waltzed into the HOH room last night where everyone was talking, and she's got a black veil over her head. This black hat, and it's, imagine you're at a funeral. And she waltzes in and goes, "I dress for a funeral since you're trying to bury my friend." I'm so sorry. Like I said, whether you like her or not, that's a great line. And I just find her so over the top and so dramatic. It's so funny. It's almost like she's hiding in plain sight, She's not even trying to be like a more laid back Rachel, because I feel she's still got the same fire she's got, but I feel like she knows how to kind of hold it back more. She's still terrible at arguments, that I will say, but she's still she's composing herself in those still chaotic ways, because she does random things like that, but she still manages to not be the outcast. And as time's gone on with Big Brother, the warring sides of the house have become more and more intent on getting rid of the outcasts. It's sad, and I don't know why that's shifted in that direction. In as literally as time has gone on in the game, it's became more incentive. Well, not even incentivized, but the cool kids and the popular kids just have absolutely no interest in paying any interest to anybody who's unique. It's like all the no personalities team up and take out the people with personalities. It's depressing, it's boring, it's just like being in high school, and those people they probably peaked in high school. Let's just say that. But Rachel Riley is quirky, she's out there, and weirdly now in this modern day game, since they judged up the game after 22, because that was terrible. What a terrible season 22 was. It's actually given more opportunity for people who are a little bit different than the popular kids to actually make it deeper in the game, which I love, because it almost feels like a fresh light has been invigorated into the game 23 onwards, because it's not as predictable as it used to be. 25 was terrible, I'll say that, but I'll always be a criticizer of 25. What a terrible season. I still think that it's nice to see that this is still happening in 27. These people like Rachel, Keanu, Kelly, the out there people are actually managing to navigate their way through the game more, and it creates for better TV. And we're going to thank ourselves when we're in week 7 or week 8 that this chaos could still be there, or at least fingers crossed that it will be. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I am loving this season right now, as you can probably tell, just from me gushing over it. And I just wanted to emphasize it for everybody else as well, because I think sometimes it's important to appreciate what we've got while we've got it. Because who knows, like I said, where we'll be with 28 or 29. We could be in the pits of the terribleness again. So we should really soak this up while we can. It's chaos, it's unpredictable, and quite frankly, anybody could win. So I'm loving that so much. But like I said, that's all your live feed updates for today, folks. I am going to do a super thanks segment today, since we didn't get to do one the past couple days. So I'm going to run through these, folks. First of all, we've got the wonderful Karen Foraker, who says, "Thanks, love Morgan. Ashley needs to shut up. Great to see Casey. Yeah, I love Morgan too. I really do. And first of all, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you. You're always supporting the channel, sending you so much love, my darling. I hope you have an amazing day. But yeah, Ashley, like I said, she's coming across as entitled in the way she talks to people, and she, I feel like she doesn't really think beyond herself. That's just what I get, and I know I'm not the only one who thinks that. I think there's a good 90% of the viewers are feeling that way, because sometimes it's like, and I see a lot of people defending Ashley, but it's like it comes a point where it's just like I need to look at those people in the eyes and go, have you turned on the feeds? Have you actually sat and watched Ashley in conversation? Because if you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And Casey, of course, we're going to see her in the episode, which I'm excited for. It's an all-star. She was supposed to be on season 22, by the way. Just a fun fact. She had to pull out last minute because of COVID. But yeah, she was meant to be one of the all-stars on 22. Thank you so much, Karen. Next up, we've got the wonderful, lovely Angela G. Thank you so much, Angela. Angela says, thank you, Angela. I appreciate you, my darling. Have an amazing day. I'm sending you so much love. We have got next the great Kimberly the Goat. Kimberly the Goat, of course, has been following this channel for years. We love her here. And Kimberly says, thanks for the update. I am so happy to see you back. I haven't been able to be online as much, so I depend on you to keep me updated. Well, hey, that's my job, Kimberly, and I'm happy to do it. Thank you so much for continuing to support. It brightened my face, because I always see these come in before I actually read the super thanks out on here, because I bring them back up to read and out and do my segment on it. So when I saw you in the comment section, I was just really happy to see you. So thank you so much for showing through again, Kimberly. I appreciate you ever so much, my darling, and I hope that you're having a great time. Okay, last and certainly not least, we have got the wonderful David Cushmore. David Cushmore, I'm going to throw his on the screen right now because they're pretty big. So if anybody wants to pause right now, you can read through David Cushmore's, and I'm going to just put them on the screen right now, and then I'm going to reply to you, David Cushmore. First of all, thank you so much, David. I appreciate you ever so much. And as always, you've got some great insight in the game there. I love the fact that you brought up, it's a simple fact, but it's something that seems to go past so many people's heads, is that 750,000 is a lot of money. Why are these people acting like it isn't? You know, it's just like the casual, yeah, okay, well, I'm just going to give on. There is $750,000 on the line. You have an opportunity to win it. Take it. Okay? The people who game the most deserve it. And that's why I love Morgan, because she's not messing around. She sees that 750k and she's thinking, I want it. So I'm not messing around. I'm going to game until I get it, which is why I love Morgan. And I can see that you're a fan of Morgan too. And I love how you always say, get a steak dinner and some M&Ms. Always fantastic advice, David, and I will always take it. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate you ever so much. But, folks, that's it for today. I hope that you're all staying safe out there. Please consider leaving a super thanks, folks, if you haven't. It's, you know, just think of it as buying me a coffee. It takes a lot of coffee to get through a season, so all the caffeine y'all can give me, the better. You can leave a super thanks and a question, or you can send something to my PayPal with a note to get a question answered as well there, folks. So please consider sending me something in. It really helps me on a personal level to run this channel. So thank you so much, folks. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that wonderful stuff. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.